Well, welcome back. We are spending a nice half hour here with Kimberly Campbell, who is the state director with AARP, and talking about some wonderful things going on. Right now, the big thing too, besides the elections that we just talked about coming up, the census.
Yes.
Census only comes around so often.
Yes, yes, every 10 years.
Every 10 years,
Yes.
you get this little notification in the mail saying, you know, we need to know this, 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 and this, and people say, there are some of you out there say, you don't need to know that. No, but yes, they do. It's very important because every town is in this country is an important part of the American story.
Absolutely. So every 10 years the census does come around, and roughly about $675 billion is spent because of what they get back from the census. And so that's money that you, of course, Mississippi won't get all of the $675 billion. It'd be nice, we need it, but we can't get it. But we do want our share. And so it's based off of your population. It's based off of a lot of different, things that they're asking for on the census. And so I always tell people, because sometimes they think it's not important, so I just want to quickly tell you some of the things that the census data impacts. It impacts funding for Medicare Part B. It impacts funding for SNAP, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It impacts funding for special education. It impacts funding for water and waste disposal systems, especially in rural communities like we have in Mississippi, for substance abuse prevention and treatment block grants. So that's a lot of important money. So, and Mississippi needs every dollar that we can get. And so we always want to tell everybody, please fill out your census. Now, this year was a little different because some people, well, I think everybody still got an email if they had an email on file for you.
Yes.
And so that's fine. If you have answered by the email and answered online, even better, because it's really quick to do it that way. If not, you had the mail-in process, which should have been a postcard that was sent to you, and information that you had to fill out or call in, you're done. Now, some areas, you will have an actual person to knock on your door. Now, of course, because of COVID, things have really changed, which is also why the deadline has been extended. So now the deadline to complete the census is September 30th. Please remember that. If you've not done it, do it today, September 30th. We want you to go to the census website. Look it up. That's 2020census.gov. You need to fill that out today. They need to know exactly how many people reside in your residence. But when you're doing this, if a physical person does come to your home, we want you to remain safe. They will always have a badge with the watermark, identifying who they are. They will also have on a mask. So, you want to be protected. They would never ask you, what time do you go to work? What time do you get back home? That's an indicator you're about to be scammed. That's someone that's trying to, case your home and things of, just the nature we don't even want to deal with. But they're not going to ask questions like that. They won't ask for your social security number. They won't ask for your mother's maiden name. They won't ask for all of these identifying information. They won't ask for banking routing numbers, credit card numbers. None of that is a part of the census. Absolutely none of that. So be aware. Don't fall for that.
What are some of the questions they will ask on there?
Some of the questions they will ask is, how long have you lived here? How many people reside in the household?
Right.
The ages. If you want to answer as far as, racial, demographic background information. Very basic, demographic information. It won't get into your personal business like, again, where exactly do you work and personal people's phone number. We've heard people call and say, well, they asked me for such and such, like my friend's address, or my friend's phone number. They won't ask you anything like that. The government knows where everybody resides.
Yeah.
So the government knows how to get in touch with everybody. They won't need you to help them do that. So, be aware, be vigilant. Also, they won't ask you to support a political party. That is a scam. That needs to be reported. That is not someone that's working for the census. Or if they are legitimately a census worker, they still need to be reported because they're operating outside of their duties. They're not going to ask you to support a political party or a candidate. That's not what the census is about. They also won't ask for money or donations for anything. That, again, that is not what the census is about.
Now, it's easy to respond. And another thing, people think about, well, I'm just one person. I live by myself at home. My information is not going to count. That's wrong.
It's wrong. You know, it's just like with voting, just like our last segment.
But you don't have to leave your house.
Every vote counts, and you don't have to leave your house for this one. Every vote counts, and every person counts as far as the census. You know, this is about bringing money to better your community, to better your state. It's about being concerned not only just for yourself, but you want to make sure your community does well. You know, that you have the funding and the resources that you need for where you live. So everybody needs to be counted. So please, please, fill out the census.
I didn't know this. I mean, I found this very interesting. The census helps determine the number of seats your state will have in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Yes, most people would say that's probably the most important part about the census.
That's really where your voice comes from.
That's really where your voice comes from. Most people, a lot of us, and I'm maybe one of them, that's a really important part, you know, that's your representation. And so that's based off of population. And so you've got to be counted because they could increase, but also if your numbers are down, it can decrease. So that's why we really need everybody to always, you know, answer the census and be counted.
Wow. I mean, there's so much that's involved in this to, you know, help, you know, every house, every town in your state get the most out of
the most out of it.
You know, as you said, was it 675 billion?
Yes,
in federal funding
billion
that goes to all these great community programs, like you said, Medicare Part B, special education, supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP, as you call it.
That's right.
Excuse me, cooperative extension service. Substance abuse prevention and treatment block grant, and of course water and waste disposal systems for rural communities.
Right, and much more. I mean, those are some of the big ones, but much more. And excuse me, just one other thing. By now, all of you should have gotten it. So if you're thinking that you never got an email, you never got a postcard, nobody knocked on the door, something is wrong. So we do want you to go to the website, go to 2020census.gov, and they'll take you from there because you've got to make sure that you're counted.
Oh, wow. Well, we got just a minute left. So, you know, anything else that we want to talk about? Of course, just to tell everyone that I don't want to say vote, but your response.
Yes, your response. It's your voice. It's important.
Your voice counts.
And it is safe. We want you to make sure that you're not giving information that's going to be disseminated anywhere else. And again, you're not giving that very vital information. You know, again, don't give personal information. Don't give financial information. You know, all of that is a red flag. So stay away from that. But it's easy. You know, it's simple. It does not take a lot of time. You know, people will tell you it takes forever. No, it does not take forever. And the other thing, another scam, they won't threaten jail time. You know, some of the people will call and say, if you don't do it, we're coming to arrest you. That's a lie. That is not a real census worker.
All right, so, thanks, Kimberly. Stick around. We're going to come back in just a moment. We're going to talk about family caregiving and all the information that AARP has on that.